You are what you consume. Sharon Hornhouse here. Welcome to, and so is your business. Welcome to day 124 of our Supersize Your Business annual challenge. Today we're talking about, and all this month we're focusing on mental health and well-being, but today specifically we're talking about what we consume, what we pay attention to, what we put into our system, and meaning our brain and our thinking, what we're exposing ourselves to, has an incredibly powerful impact on us as individuals and leaders of our organization, but also on our business as a whole. Why? Because the speed of the pack is determined by the speed of the leader. I don't care what you say. That is so true. All the businesses that you see succeeding in your industry and other industries, their speed, their success, their results are determined by what inputs they're allowing into the business and into the individual leaders' systems, brains, minds, etc. It's why books, little books, CDs, back remember the day when we listened to CDs all the time? I still do. I still have a CD, a drive on my, or a drive on my old computer, and I listen to that. This isn't a good old book, Getting What You Want. I don't even remember when this was published, but I have literally hundreds and hundreds of books, maybe thousands. I have a bunch in storage that every once in a while, my brain will say, go back and find that exercise in whatever book. I also have a whole stack of books that are my to-read book pile. And I'm legally blind. So if you're going to tell me excuses about why you can't read or how you can't read or how you can't consume good things and be feeding your brain the things that it needs for you to create the life that you want, I'm probably not going to be very sympathetic, right? Because there's always a way to do what you want to do. Now, why is this important? Because I think we've all heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out. If we and the people in our organization are consuming a lot of garbage and negativity and trash, outside of the workplace, definitely not in the workplace. We always have guidelines in place that say, you know what? You're not doom scrolling. And that's a term for just scrolling through different social media platforms that are negative, violence, political, anything evil or negative. None of that is allowed in the organizations that I am a part of. Why? Because you bring that energy into the organization, which is the last thing we want in our culture. Your mental diet, what you listen to, what podcasts, what radio stations, what television you watch, what news you listen to, all of that, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, and mostly we're not consciously aware of it, has an impact on us. I'm going to share a story that just happened yesterday because that's part of our assignment today is look at what you personally consumed over the last 24 hours in terms of what you listen to, what you watch, what did you participate in for activities, what kind of people were you around, etc. And we're just doing our own little audit of this, just on a piece of paper. But the one thing I noticed as I came up with this this is what we're going to do for an action item tomorrow, is I realized I had turned on Saturday. I needed a break. I've been going 100 miles an hour on a couple of projects that I'm a part of and working on. And my brain just needed a shut-off valve and a break. So I turned on Netflix and just picked a random show. It turns out to be an alien invasion type apocalyptic show. And I watched a few episodes of it and I realized that negativity and that fear and doubt and worry was seeping into what I was watching and paying attention to on my computer. And so I'm like, nope, time out, done with that. Not going to watch that for a while. But will I turn to things like Netflix for an escape once in a while? Yes. I will admit it's much better for me to go to a walk or go for a walk in nature or go down by the river than it is to consume no mind television. But depending on the weather, that happens on occasion. But I also know that I need to steel myself against the influences of doubt, worry, fear, anything negative, right? Because if I bring that energy into my business, what happens? It permeates the culture of the business and it goes to everyone. Why? Because I'm supposed to be the leader and the figurehead. That means I have to be a role model and a good example. Not an example or a warning. I want to be a good example, not the warning. And if I'm coming in and I'm talking about the apocalyptic show that I saw last night and how afraid everybody was and all the worry and the violence, is that going to add positively to my culture? No. Is that adding positively to my life? No. Is it entertainment? It's pure entertainment, and we can put that in a box and say, okay, that was just entertainment. It's like going to the theater, going to the movies. That's just pure entertainment, and It's important, though, that what we pick and choose is something that we want to feed our brain. Garbage in, garbage out. It's almost a natural law, right? It's almost a law, a universal law. Garbage in, garbage out. Keep it simple. Things like that we want to choose consciously to feed our brain. Now, I don't know if I've challenged this group yet to stop watching the news, but if you're still watching the news, I challenge you right now to go on a 1-week diet and not consume any news. I don't care what news network you watch. I don't care what news sources you look at. Take a time out, take a break for 1 week, and then report back how you feel. I guarantee you will feel so much lighter and so much better that you won't even believe that you didn't do it before. It's like giving up coffee. It hurts for a few days, and then all of a sudden you feel great. How do I know? Because I've done it several times in my life. What we curate, and this is our responsibility, it is up to each and every one of us as individuals to actually pick and choose or curate like a museum what you will and will not let into your mind, let into your thinking, let into your thoughts. Go back and read some classic marketing if your business needs some marketing oomph, right? If you need some sales training, read some of the best books on sales training or listen to them on tape while you go for a walk in nature. I think listening to books on tape while you go for a walk in nature and still observing and looking around you is probably one of the most powerful ways to learn. At least it is for me, because I absorb not only the positive aspects of nature, but the material that I'm feeding my mind at the same time. I think for about 2 years, I walked around the park every day with headphones on and listened to different courses. They weren't courses back then, books on tape and things, because my vision was getting bad. And I stopped doing it when I realized I wasn't paying attention to all the beauty that was right around me. I wasn't being grateful and paying attention for that when it was all right around me. And it was a profound change when I switched that sound off and started listening to nature. I absorbed and got so much more positive inputs to me from my walk. Now I pick and choose and curate when I want to listen to something that's a priority to feed my brain. I'll listen to that while I go for a walk, but I won't always, because sometimes I just want to practice being present. I don't know about you, but I spent at least 2 decades, maybe 3, running through my life and not really being present for anything, not being present 100% at work because I was worried about the family. And with the family, I was worried about the businesses or work. And so I don't recommend that as a way of life. It takes a toll on you. That's all these wrinkles are from. So today, what are we going to do? I want you to evaluate your professional consumption and what you let into your thinking and your mind and your brain. I'm in a community right now that subscribes to the one source rule, and I understand why they do that, but I'm not a one source person. I never have been. Even back in high school, when we had to do a term paper, I would go over to the Hill Reference Library in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I would go to the reference room and I would get at least a dozen sources. If we were supposed to have 3, I would get 12. If we were supposed to have 5, I would get 20. Why? Because I knew way back then even that when I read a book, when I listen to somebody's podcast, or I listen to a program, even when I listen to Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, or anything, I know that I need more than one other human being's point of view or perspective on it. Why? Because otherwise we're just blindly following someone else. Now, if it's a skill we want to acquire, now I'm doing this one source people because there's one skill I want to acquire that I've never considered myself very good at, and they are the best at what I want to do. And so that's why I'm modeling them. And they'll be my one source for that for a while until I achieve the results I want. And then I will broaden my horizons, because we always need to take everything we learn, whether it's from one source or 12 sources, and assimilate it and make it our own. Figure out how it applies and how it works for us and for our business. So today, evaluate what's coming into your life and into your business, because it's coming into your life, and then just make it write a list, and then a little positive or a little negative by it. I see my lights are out. All right. That is our action item for today. And then share in the comments below one book, one course, one something that you are going to consciously curate this week. I'll give you the whole week, but write it down today, and then write it on your schedule when you're going to go get it, and then start consuming it. All right. That's it. Have an awesome day, and I will, of course, see you tomorrow.